Yeah, we're live. Uh, 6 people already here. Hold on. 6 people already here, but more importantly, we have a new member who has joined even before the start of this episode. Natu Cody has joined and become a member of the Disscontent YouTube channel. Welcome, Natu Cody. I will also send you the link to join the Disscontent WhatsApp group if you mail me. Or you DM us on Instagram on the Disscontent page. I have given my mail ID in the chat, so please do that as well. Uh, yeah, thank you for your support before we start anything else. And on that very good note, let's start episode 84 of the Discontent podcast. I'm Aditya Khanna. With me is Himanshu Arya. Himanshu, say hi.
Hi guys.
How are you feeling about the things we're going to discuss? Because we're going to discuss three very diverse topics. I'll just list them out right now. One of them is R. Balki's Chup, as you might be able to tell from the thumbnail. The others are House of the Dragon, the spin-off series from Game of Thrones, and also the new season of Rick and Morty. Abudaya Mehrotra has said, will Bharat be joining? No, he will not be joining because Bharat is too busy. If you would like to leave us and break our hearts, you can do that. If that's all you care about, Abudaya.
I think
I hope
we
you.
need to just address
Uh,
this because it's been a
uh,
couple of episodes have
we
happened,
can
right?
also
And
make
Bharat
up a
has not.
crazy controversy, no? Sorry, what are you
Yeah,
saying?
we need. I think we should address it. Bharat
Uh,
is really right now. He's busy shooting. He's directing, right? He's
no,
directing a.
don't. No. He's shooting something basically,
Huh.
and
Okay.
yeah. So he will be joining us. I think in the next episode. I spoke to him today. He'll probably be joining us in the next episode, and yeah. I mean, I was really thinking we could come up with some crazy story that we've had some weird breakup, and Bharat is no longer a part of this podcast, regrettably. But that's not the case. Fortunately, not unfortunately. Sorry. Uh, so yeah, we're gonna discuss the new season of Rick and Morty as well. But yeah, I think um we have to start with Chup. But do you want to start immediately, or we'll stay for you guys? Abudaya has said, and for House of the Dragon, of course. Okay, so maybe we can. What order do you want to do this in? Because I want to give a little bit of spoilers for Chup, so we'll give a warning for that. What do
Huh.
you think, Himanshu?
Huh. We should do it. Maybe chup thoda next point pe karte. Let's start
Okay.
with House of Dragons. Also because I think I'm not a Game of Thrones fan, right?
Hmm.
Like I've not seen the original series. So for me to watch the spin-off and get hooked onto the spin-off, I wanted to know what the hell is happening. Who are these people? And I need some backstory. I know this is not the right place, maybe,
Hmm.
but you can still tell me a little bit because I think you have read the book.
I have
What?
read one and a half books. So I've read the first part and second ka maine आधा पढ़ा था. Also, the thing is, the first, I don't know about the later books, but the first two books for sure. The reason I left them are because they are basically exactly the same as the series. There is almost I mean, no, there are some extra characters in it who are kind of important. But apart from that, the basic event flow is largely the same as the series. Very loyal to the book. So that way, which is why those seasons were really good, because those of you all who are familiar with the shit show that happened at the end of Game of Thrones, and I recently rewatched the last two seasons especially, and yeah, it's true. I mean, I was just trying to confirm if we were just all collectively in that mass hysteria shitting on Game of Thrones, because in the end everyone was shitting on it. So I was wondering if that was for a reason, or was no, but it is for a reason. It's very obviously it tanked it pretty badly. But apart from that, yeah, I'm a big fan. I have watched the show. I think at least a couple of times in full, matlab pura start se end tak. And yeah, I really, but I have a very controversial opinion on House of the Dragon, which is that I think the first season so far of how अब तक कितने episode आए? 5 episode.
पांच आए या फिर छह आए? पांच आई थिंक. I think पांच.
I think it is. I think it's much better than the original Game of Thrones ka first season, and for a very simple reason that when you build a world like that, show was so engrossed in building a world in the beginning and telling us everything that it did not have too much time to focus on grand stuff. जैसे इतने कैरेक्टर थे गेम ऑफ थ्रोन्स में कि अगर एक सीन से शुरू हो रहा है, so it's like there are in the beginning there are like 20 characters that you have to like memorize
Follow.
who they are.
Hmm.
Forget follow, matlab these are like the main people. Okay, and that's like
Hmm.
20, and then every episode they keep adding like 2 3 more. So it was very difficult to sort of, because along with giving a character ka motivation and all that, they also had to set up the world for us because people had not read the books or whatever, right? So
Hmm.
this series has the great luxury of not having to do that, and I think it thrives in that part of it, and I enjoy this a lot more. The stories also I find much darker, much more mature, I would say, compared to the first one, which was still, I think, वो थोड़ा सा Game of Thrones का first season, because it's inspired, those history nuts will know, or Game of Thrones fans, it's inspired by the War of the Roses between the Lancasters and the Yorks of the
That's
Britain.
a real
Yeah,
war.
that's a real war. It was called the War of the Roses between basically two families. I think uske wo family eventually they just ended up, बहुत सारा war हुआ, उसके बाद they ended up marrying each other, and those children, their surname became, I think it was Windsor or something else. I don't know if it's Windsor, and that's the royal family basically
Ow.
of
Ouch.
the British royal family. So a lot of inbreeding involved in that as well as in Game of Thrones. But yeah, dude, European history is just basically just tons of incest. Incest is like the primary motivator in
बहुत
all of
नॉर्मल है
European.
ना, बहुत नॉर्मल है
बहुत
इसमें.
ज्यादा. So
सब कजन्स ही एक दूसरे से बात कर रहे हैं, मतलब दे फ्लर्टिंग ओनली विद ईच अदर. द मामा,
basically,
like there's this character, he's like his chacha, and
uh,
what's her like
Renera and
Rhaenyra.
Daemon.
Yeah, Damon.
Hmm.
यार एंड में ना, like this new episode which just came out, it threw me off because suddenly there are 6
स्पॉइलर
children.
बता रहे हैं हम लोग डिस्कस कर रहे हैं जितने भी एपिसोड अब तक आए हैं हाउस ऑफ द ड्रैगन के, वी आर डिस्कसिंग दोस. या गो ऑन.
नहीं मतलब, now suddenly the number of characters have increased by a lot,
Hmm.
right? And they don't even tell the names and all, like they don't like take the time to explain कि ये कौन है, ये कौन है, ये कौन है, first
करेक्ट
one है.
करेक्ट. मैं मेरे को
And
भी चेक करना पड़ता है बार बार.
हाँ, तो अब कैसे याद रखेगा, like what people have to read the books, or is it fine if you don't? And one, it's fine if you don't, right?
Yeah, I think it's fine. I think it's I mean, there is a book that this one is based on,
Hmm.
which is I think it's Fire and Blood or something like that. So I haven't read it, and I don't plan to either.
Hmm.
So, and I'm really enjoying it so far. So I think it's not necessary to read the books, though. There is a massive spoiler in Game of Thrones ka season 3. Okay, basically in the original series का जो season 3 है,
हाँ.
उसमें there is this character who's telling another character about
Hmm.
one of the main characters. पूरा जब ये उसका जो भी कैरेक्टर है, मैं नाम बता नहीं रहा, बट उसका आर्क कैसे खत्म होता है बेसिकली, उसका जो
Got it.
लास्ट पॉइंट है वो कैरेक्टर का, बहुत ही मेजर कैरेक्टर का, दैट अ कैरेक्टर इज टेलिंग अनदर वन, लाइक एक ऐसा एक ये था जिसके साथ ये सब हुआ था, तो विच इज लाइक अ वेरी वेरी भारी स्पॉइलर. तो
No, but
दैट,
that's interesting, right? Like
या,
it's not a spoiler if you're a Game of Thrones fan.
हाँ, that's what it. I mean, it is a spoiler in that we didn't expect कि इसके ऊपर स्पिन ऑफ, उनको पता ही था ना इसके ऊपर स्पिन ऑफ बनेगा फाइनली, आई
हाँ.
गेस एटलीस्ट वो टाइम तक तो. सो
But it's better planned, na? Like this, like generally spin-offs are like a curse, like there's a curse for spin-offs. They kind of are always bad, or a cash grab at the very least. But I feel like this one is not like that. They had a story to tell. The book is real, and the story ends, right? The book that this show is based on, this particular spin-off, the story ends,
has
right?
ended. Yeah, because the whole history is written. I have the Game of Thrones dictionary. Like dictionary nahi, like that, like there's like a special like a coffee table type book on which
Mm-hmm.
you can. So when this season started, I made the big mistake of also reading a little bit of that. तो उसमें तो पूरा history ना, because they have written up. This is 300 years before that story, the Game of Thrones story. So we already know the context till that point, how things came in whatever order they did at the
Hmm.
beginning of that story. So we know everything. And yeah, so I think मैंने उसमें भी एक दो spoiler पढ़ लिए, which was a fuck up on my part, but it's fine. I don't think it's ruining my experience at all. But what I was telling you was कि जैसे, because that one was based on War of the Roses, Game of Thrones, the first season of Game of Thrones, and we can only compare those two right now.
Hmm.
It was very focused on twisting the cliches of telling a story about medieval history. You know, it was very focused on that. So
The first
the
season of Game of Thrones, right?
yeah. So because it was telling that story, right? It did not want to be like the others. So the prince is
Subversion was
not
important, right?
exactly. So subversion was in order, and everything was subversion. Every character is what they're supposed to be. Uska opposite here. So
Hmm.
everything was that. Over here, they don't have that baggage. They can start
Hmm.
off on a. They don't have to subvert shit because they have already subverted whatever they had to. So I think I'm a
Much
big fan
more,
so far. Yeah,
much more comfortable with just telling a story,
yeah.
without any added stuff.
But I want to ask you, so far, what has been your favorite moment in this show? So yeah, guys, House of the Dragon, slight spoilers or not spoilers, maybe, but yeah.
So I remember watching Game of Thrones ka scenes, which have like violence, blood and
Hmm.
stuff, right? And matlab, I could watch it. It wasn't like disgusting or something for me, but for some reason, this season, this couple of episodes, there are multiple child b- birth moments, and I can't watch them. I don't know why, but it's painful. It's like it's like body horror,
हाँ.
and it
Birth is the process of birth is literally body horror. याद है हमने
yeah
एक बार हिमांशु deviation, हमने एक
हाँ
फिल्म देखी थी मामी में, एक बार तू ही था ना मेरे साथ.
कौन सा
एक फ्रेंच फिल्म थी गोइंग वर्टिकल,
हाँ
तुझे
हाँ
याद
हाँ
है?
जिसमें there's a child
जिसमें
birth happening एकदम
dude, yeah, guys, there is this. We saw it at Mumbai Film Festival where there is a camera on. There's a close-up shot of childbirth. It's literally a birthing video at that point, and then it cuts to like some guy's penis or something like that. No, no.
no no
The first shot is this guy's penis. Like it's a close-up. Like his dick is the close-up, and
हाँ
then it cuts to birth, like directly. Oh, pregnant हो गया, and then pregnant
हाँ
हो गई, and then
हाँ
birth. So yeah, crazy shit. But yeah, this is better than that. I mean, it's not. I didn't find it to be that utna zyada, though they are very. So far, there have been I think 3 birthing scenes, right?
yeah
No, 4, 3 or 4. पहला उसका
it,
जो सबसे पहला जो बच्चा होता है जो
it doesn't
cultist. हाँ,
survive
हाँ.
हाँ
Yeah, that I should use that. I should probably not say culty, but
फिर
the
उसके बाद
second,
सेकंड
हाँ,
एगॉन
Aegon.
नहीं एगॉन नहीं हाँ एगॉन इज द
हाँ,
सेकंड वन
Aegon. हाँ,
and the third one is this one right Rhaenyra's child
Rhaenyra's. हाँ, तो अब तक 3 ही
and
हुए
there
मतलब.
is one more even that one gives birth but she doesn't survive like
हाँ, this one, Daemon's wife.
Damon's
Daemon's
wife
wife.
something with V right नहीं
Lena. Yeah.
Lena so
Hmm.
she does spoiler हो गया
Yeah.
but
Oh
the way
yeah, this
she
is. But we gave spoiler warning for this. कोई रोना नहीं. बाद में आके मच नहीं करने के लिए. हाँ.
so like 5 episode में 4 birthing episodes हुए अभी मतलब 4 बार तो हो ही चुका है
Hmm.
so interesting what do
Yeah,
you
very cool.
what was your moment the dinner the wedding
Yeah. So I told you about this also over the call, that I found that the way that was directed, that the dinner moment. I mean, it had so many characters, or बहुत ही seamlessly they showed everyone the anxieties a little bit. And the reason I loved it was because as a true fan of Game of Thrones, I mean, I'm not some diehard fan who's read all the books, but जितना ही मैंने पढ़ा है, मतलब it really reminded me of what Game of Thrones used to be about. And it was about scheming, and it was about politics, and it was about, like we all of us love watching or reading about Indian politics, or just generally everyday modern day politics. But Game of Thrones did that for a different period. Like, what would a politic, if you just remove all the fluff of the dragons and the magic and the blah blah blah, but if you just bring it down to, it was a show about politics. So I really got that feel from it. What would I really got a feel of that? This scene could be uh could could be that of like any serious kind of historical film on some event where something like this would have happened. which is what Game of Thrones. So Game of Thrones का जो पहले जो especially जो शुरुआत में जो भी होता है, as I was telling you, a lot of the incidents are not only borrowed from War of the Roses but other battles. जैसे there was a real red wedding, for example. जैसे there's a red wedding. I'm sure you know red wedding,
Yeah. I
but yeah.
know the names
So
and stuff. I know all the
yeah,
characters
so
connected.
there were a lot of these real incidents that had happened, which George R. R. Martin had very skillfully adapted. So I got that feel over here. I really got that vibe. But apart from that, also very really good moments. Who's your favorite character so far? I'm really curious about that because there was a lot to pick from.
Uh, Damon was my favorite initially because Matt Smith, like he looks only evil, right?
Hmm.
That guy. And if you've seen him in
दिखने में
so
हरामी.
many,
हाँ,
he's in Crown also. If you've seen
correct.
Crown, in
उसमें वो
Crown में
फिलिप
तो
बना है
is
ना?
the guy who's now the king.
हाँ, नहीं
इतना
नहीं, फिलिप या
wait,
फिर चार्ल्स है भाई अभी किंग.
sorry,
फिलिप इज
Philip
द
though passed away, right?
फिलिप आल्सो
Philip
कल्टी.
passed away
या
before
या
Elizabeth, just this year only, I think.
या
Yeah. So yeah, that character is shown so मतलब इतना खराब in Matt Smith ना, he plays it to the T. So in that, and then if you watch Last Night in Soho, have you seen that one?
I haven't yet but I have to.
He's very good in that.
Hmm.
In that way, he's probably the best part about that movie. So I think that actor has really killed it in this one also. And he's so some of the characters that remain the same from the
Hmm.
first couple of episodes, which carry forward till the current episode, because this current episode is a jump, a 10-year jump, right?
Hmm.
I felt like अच्छा हुआ कि Matt Smith stayed because I didn't want him to change.
हाँ
Better only. Other people though got shifted around. Rhaenyra ko, I think they chose someone who doesn't seem like Rhaenyra anymore.
हाँ, उसको मतलब ऐसा लगा कि मतलब उसको 10 साल में कुछ और ही हो गया. मतलब बाकी सब लोग थोड़े से अप्रोप्रिएट लिए.
हाँ.
वो क्रिस्टियन कोल तो एक भी दिन एज नहीं हुआ. वो तो ऐसा लग रहा था अभी 21 साल का ही 22 साल का हो गया. बस उतना ही उतने को
कौन है
फर्क लगा.
क्रिश्चियन कोल?
Arey, the guy, dude, the this one's side hustle, or an era side boy.
The Sir
Yeah,
Kristen Cole. Got it.
sir.
हाँ.
Oh, sir से याद आया तेरे को. But no, so I also I think Damon's probably my favorite character also. Mainly because mainly actually in this episode. In this episode, he became my favorite character because I really loved the fact that till and spoilers, slight कुछ spoiler नहीं है but it's just character. Uh, in the first 2-3 episodes ऐसा उसको ऐसा दिखा रहे थे जैसे House of the Dragon sorry House of the Game of Thrones में ऐसे like I don't know whose example to take, but like a smarter and older Joffrey, like a really evil guy but really smart. Joffrey wasn't smart but like one of those people, like a bold Ramsay Bolton, actually very similar to that guy, at least in type of person he is. But in this latest episode when there's a jump, it's shown that he's just like he's lost that fire. So he's
Yeah.
become like very thanda, and he's lost his sort of will to power. And I found that to be very interesting, and now I'm very curious where it goes from here. So he is my favorite character to watch out for. A lot of comments. The Ring of Power dude has asked with Big Lebowski wala dude ka profile photo. रिंग्स ऑफ पावर को आप लोग डिस करने वाले हो या अच्छी लगी अब तक? मुझे एक सेकंड हिमांशु, सो मुझे बहुत ही थका हुआ शो लगा वो. मुझे पहले 2 एपिसोड्स काफी अच्छे लगे. आई वाज वेरी इम्प्रेस्ड बिकॉज आई थिंक दे केम टुगेदर. आई वाज आई वॉच बोथ ऑफ देम ऑन द सेम नाइट. और फिर भाई मैं मतलब आई जस्ट काइंड ऑफ आफ्टर द एपिसोड वेयर द ड्वार्फ एंड दैट गाय द एल्फ, डिड यू वॉच इट?
I've seen the first two, maybe the third episode. I've seen it. Yeah.
तो आई
So
थिंक
the
तो
guy
थर्ड
who
है.
fell from the sky, is it Gandalf? Is it
I
that
don't
guy?
know. I don't actually. I'm not very familiar with Lord of the Rings lore.
I am. मतलब मैंने मूवीज तो देखी है, हॉबिट की भी देखी है मैंने सारी. तो मुझे तो फिर भी इतनी like I didn't feel like it was the same one. It's shot exactly the same. The music is the same. The way Peter Jackson made Lord of the Rings, it's like that version, right? It's exactly that. So they're
Hmm.
copying the cinematic version more so that we, the audience, kind of buy into it. But I feel like there was so much more, right? J.R.R. Tolkien, he
Hmm.
did his own thing. So yeah, Ring of Power, na, it doesn't feel like it's come from the mind of Tolkien. It feels like it came out from the mind of Peter Jackson. feels like it's a
Hmm.
derivative work.
पर उसने ही बनाया, पीटर जैक्सन ने ही बनाया क्या ये भी?
I don't think so.
नहीं
I
ना,
don't think so.
I don't think either. Open letter to Bharat. Please come back to the show. Fans, Bharat Misra fans demand Mr. Ping and before The Hobbit. Guys, we explained this in the beginning. Bharat is busy as fuck. All right. So he's gonna come in the next episode. Just wait and we'll welcome him with all the pomp. And if you guys actually, if you guys if you guys get this video to 100 likes, then we can do. मैं थोड़ा सीख रहा हूँ आंशु गेम YouTube का. तो अगर तुम लोग इसको 100 लाइक पे लाते हो, then we will force him to come. We will literally video call him and I'll put him over here. So yeah, please get that done very quickly. But yeah, Lord of the Rings. Anyway, I really have nothing good to say for except for maybe the initial couple of episodes. This thing of क्या नाम क्या है? Rings of Power. Ring of
Rings
Power.
of Power.
हाँ. So I really hate that shit. So I didn't hate it, but it was just very
No, I think it's if you, मतलब I feel like I need to go back to the books now just to come because बहुत कुछ है यार, like Lord of the Rings is huge. It's
तूने
bigger
पढ़ा है
than,
क्या?
मेरे पास बुक है, मैंने खोला तो है, मैंने अपना बेस्ट एफर्ट डाला था, बट अगर
हाँ.
10 लोगों के नाम सेम होते हैं ना बुक में तो बिल्कुल नहीं होता वो, मतलब इट्स एवरी नेम इज सो सिमिलर एंड इट्स नॉट, आई कुडंट कनेक्ट एंड आई थिंक देयर इज अ सिमिलर प्रॉब्लम विद दिस वन आल्सो यार, गेम ऑफ थ्रोन्स. द नेम्स आर लाइक, देन यू कांट मग इट अप यार. ये रेनेरा भी, मुझे मेन बंदा जो किंग है, मुझे उसका नाम ही याद नहीं आ रहा.
विसेरिस ना, विसेरिस.
हाँ विसेरिस, मतलब मैं बोल भी नहीं पाता, तो इट्स लाइक
तो
देयर इज अ
तेरे को
डिटैचमेंट
ये
है.
पता है क्या, ये Amazon का एक्चुअली यूआई अच्छा है उनका, जो भी उनका जो वीडियो
हाँ
प्लेयर है
साइड में सब आ जाता है ना.
वो सही है, वो एक होना चाहिए. आई थिंक एवरीवन शुड कॉपी दैट लिटिल बिट.
द
बट
ओनली थिंग गुड अबाउट Amazon Prime
the
इज दैट ओनली.
literally the only thing, otherwise उनका search filter and all that
कुछ
shit is
काम नहीं करता.
fuck all. Yeah.
कितने Amazon का तो मैंने देखा है, इफ यू राइट इन देयर सर्च अ नेम ऑफ अ फिल्म दैट इज नॉट इन Amazon ना, इट विल स्टिल कम अप एज अ सर्च. मतलब कि अच्छा, इफ यू राइटिंग से समथिंग लाइक चुप,
वो तो
इफ यू राइटिंग,
नेटफ्लिक्स पे भी आता है. हाँ.
नहीं तो पूरी मूवी का नाम आ जाएगा, ठीक है,
हम्म.
फिर बोलेगा नहीं है, तो मतलब व्हाई द फक, ऐसे दिखाओ कि है ही नहीं ना, मतलब you don't even know about it, delete it from your stuff ना, don't say like the ring of power, if I'm writing
अरे
the
पर वो लोग
ring of.
रेंट के लिए भी देते हैं, आई थिंक उसके लिए, because they fucking own everything, no? So they give
Hmm.
something for rent also. But ये Netflix का अच्छा है because उसमें भी आ जाता है नाम, but then they recommend the related stuff. ठीक है.
Yeah.
But one more comment and then we'll get back to the discussion. Mr. Ping has said, ha ha ha, impossible. Okay, Mr. Ping, first of all, fuck you. All right, this is, you need to get us to 100 like. मैं तेरे को बता रहा हूँ, ठीक है? Mr. Ping, I say this is all the love. I know you're a regular
Yeah.
watcher. बट यार तुम लोग ही तो हम लोग को सपोर्ट करोगे ना. मतलब भाई मैं देख रहा हूँ, मैं नाम नहीं लूंगा किसी का भी, बट इतने फकॉल पॉडकास्ट आ रहे हैं ना आजकल, बिकॉज पॉडकास्टिंग इज नाउ द न्यू ब्लॉगिंग, राइट? सो इट्स देयर आर सो मेनी ऑफ देम एंड देयर आर दीज fucking random londa podcasts, all right, which we are also mostly men only talking, but we are at least somewhere हम लोग का दिमाग में ये चलता है ना, मतलब these are just generally complete nonsense, and they have like fucking double triple our subscribers. So I think, and I know why also, because they're putting in more effort and more
वैसे
money.
डबल ट्रिपल
So,
आर
yeah,
सब्सक्राइबर्स लाइक
is still not much, but I still think
3000.
भाई उनका उतना भी नहीं होना चाहिए यार. उनका मतलब it's like you know they're literally just pumping out reel after reel because they probably have money to hire an editor separately, and they like constantly have their podcast like chopped up, which we should also do.
छोड़ना यार,
But
इस कंपटीशन में बात करते हैं मूवी के बारे में, क्या
हाँ,
करना है उनके साथ.
तो मैं
आई
खाली
सॉ सो मेनी.
मैं
हाँ
मिस्टर पिंक को
बोल.
खाली होप दे रहा था, ऐसे इम्पॉसिबल मत बोलो. मतलब we'll get there 100 likes maybe after a year, but हाँ, तो तुम लोग थोड़ा लाइक करोगे तो बढ़ेगा. Anyway, हाँ हिमांशु.
Nothing यार. So yeah, do you want to talk about Chup now?
No, I mean, anything else you have on House of the Dragon? House of the Dragon.
uh Nothing. Let's wait and see. I think I'll tell you what it feels like right now. It feels like जब गैंग्स ऑफ वासेपुर चालू हुआ था ना, तो बहुत देर तक ना मनोज वाजपेयी आया ही नहीं था, मतलब.
I know who the Manoj Vajpayee in this is though. I'm not
अच्छा,
gonna say it.
अभी तक आया
Yeah.
नहीं है ना मनोज
मेरे
वाजपेयी
को पता है
इसका?
कौन इसका मेन कैरेक्टर कौन बन रहा है वो. आई थिंक अभी थोड़ा सा हिंट भी आ चुका है बट
इट्स नॉट
या
एगॉन ना? इट्स नॉट एगॉन, राइट?
तू मेरे से बुलवाना चाहता है क्या?
इज एगॉन इम्पोर्टेंट?
एगॉन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. यस.
ओके, ठीक
तो
है.
वो तो है.
इज रेनेरा's children important?
I don't know about that. I don't know about Rhaenyra's children, but I know Rhaenyra is obviously वो तो अभी से है ही. But
हाँ.
yeah, I don't want to dwell too much because I have some very major spoilers which I don't want to give. So we can actually just carry on. But was that shade directed towards Men of Culture podcast? Amir Khan has said, first of all, welcome, sir. Very very glad to have Mr. Khan with us today. But no, I don't even know what the Men of Culture podcast is. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about somebody else. But yeah. Anyway.
Pine said I can't stand Alicent, and I think Alicent, matlab, I liked her, in the first couple when
Hmm.
she was a kid. But then I thought she was getting forced into,
Hmm.
this power game by her father. Later, you realize ki, she is kind of in it, and now that she's like the queen, abhi recent is latest episode mein to bro, she's at the top only. Like she kind of shuts down the king also, right? When the king is saying
Hmm.
something something whatever, they have an argument and she kind of puts him down. I felt like now Alicent is gonna be like really evil, and her arc is like getting more crazy and amazing. So it's
Hmm.
good. So what I was saying is, if I'm comparing it to Gangs of Wasseypur, I'm just coming back to that. So the
Huh.
part where all that stuff was happening, na, ki initially when Sardar Khan's father is getting killed and they're like becoming like migrants. They're going, and that song, na, Ek Badal Mein Chand Hoga. I feel like we are
Hmm.
still in that phase of this story. It hasn't started, and I can tell. So that's
Hmm.
why there's no point, discussing themes and this and that. Abhi tak to kuch hua nahi. They're just setting it up, and I can tell what is
Exactly.
going to happen. It's all brothers versus brothers. It's all going to be it's a succession.
हाँ वो तो होता ही है. अब इसमें पता है वो सक्सेशन का वो सीन वो सेम तो सब लोग ही चोरी कर रहे हैं यार आजकल. बॉयज में भी वो होमलैंडर का वो लाइक जर्किंग ऑफ ओवर द सिटी लाइक
हाँ,
जनरली. तो वो
हाँ,
रोमन रॉय डिड इट फर्स्ट इन सक्सेशन देन होमलैंडर में दिस वन होमलैंडर नहीं सॉरी बॉयज में होमलैंडर डज इट एंड नाउ
हाँ.
इसमें ये अपना छावा.
Aegon,
हाँ.
Aegon.
तो सो आई थिंक बट आई थिंक योर एनालिसिस इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. I think that might be true. That we'll get to. Let's see. But Damon and Rhaenyra just flat out irritating. Anyway, but let's move on to the next topic, which is Chup. Himanshu,
Yeah, yeah. You tell na. What do you think? मैंने तो बोल दिया था अपना point.
मेरे को तेरा पॉइंट मैं भूल गया हूँ एक सेकंड बट 30 people watching guys, please like the stream and help us grow, and you can also join our membership if you want to join our WhatsApp group, and so please do that. And if you'd like to support us in general also, oh yeah, we have a new podcast guys. There is a new podcast by Disscontent called Board Juazi. It features me and my one of my best friends from school, Chonak, and we talk about news and politics, but it's not a serious news podcast, just a banter news and politics podcast. Himanshu, give us your unbiased review. Don't feel any pressure just because I'm sitting over here. You can be
No,
harsh.
no, no. Nee, it was funny. It was
Hmm.
funny. I was laughing. There were some jokes. So you called me and I won't reveal what you said, but basically you were asking if the jokes are too dank. So
Uh,
I was listening for the dank jokes, and the joke that you thought was dank
huh.
was very normal. Okay, it was not
So
dank.
the one that I did not think was dank was very dank,
The
basically.
one which you didn't even ask for, I felt like that was like something that you could remove. But overall, nothing really bad, and it was really fun. I heard the whole thing in a single go. So, matlab, matlab, I know I'm in a podcast, but I don't listen to a lot of podcasts. But I could
Hmm.
hear this one also.
So Himanshu's glowing review is out, and the reason I asked for his criticism on the podcast because the next film that we're talking about is focused on films and criticism and film critics and meta shit. So which is R Balki's latest high concept venture by the high concept merchant. R Balki is a high. ऐसे पता है इसमें क्रिकेट में एक टर्म होता है मर्चेंट, लाइक if you get players, if you're a bowler and you get players out only by one kind of ball, which is you
हाँ
call them, like you call, for example, there's a term called slower ball merchant. इससे ज्यादा फास्ट फेंका नहीं जाता है, वो स्लो बॉल डाल के वो लोग
आउट
मारते
करवा
रहते हैं,
देता है.
इवेंचुअली एक एक गलत हिट हो जाता है. तो yeah, so I think R Balki is a full on high concept merchant, and this is another high concept serial killer film featuring Sunny Deol,
The
Dulquer Salman, and Shreya Dhanwantri. It's written by Raja Sen and one more guy, but I don't remember the other guy's name. But Raja Sen himself is a critic. हाँ
Mr.
तू क्या कह रहा है?
Pinkrot high
HIG.
high
Wow,
high
nice.
concept. मतलब वो same
हाँ,
spelling only.
oh, that okay, okay. I just got it.
Kind of,
It is
kind of.
very high concept in that sense also. I think it would be more enjoyable in that scenario as well. But I know Himanshu's, I think I remember Himanshu's opinion. My opinion is that I really liked the film. Uh it was, I found it to be very gutsy. I thought it was very, very it was a truly, like, it's a noble effort, okay, to make a film like this. Not the general sense of noble. It was just as a filmmaker, that a popular filmmaker can go there, you know, and just be like, "Nahi, this is my idea, and I'm just gonna do it this way." It has a lot of flaws. I'm not saying it's some great. I'm not saying it's a perfect film. I'm just saying it's a film that I really enjoyed. There are very obvious problems with the film, in its tone, in its especially in its pace, in the sense of it tries something which I think is risky in any case, in any film, which is cutting between characters who are seemingly detached but are then obviously going to be attached in some way, which I think it sort of is flawed in that sense, because it tries that. I don't think it succeeds a lot, but other than that, I thought it was a very, very interesting film. And yes, as before has mentioned, biggest problem with Chup, Woody Allen is innocent. Yeah, I also thought उधर basically, just to give you guys context, वो एक रूम में, किसी के रूम में एक पोस्टर या ऐसा कुछ प्लेकार्ड ऊपर लगा हुआ है which just says Woody Allen is innocent. I don't know what was the point of that in the
Yeah,
film.
and yeah, exactly. मतलब, so I don't remember the Woody Allen thing properly, but I don't think he was innocent. Okay, like at least I had this discussion with like Bharat and you guys before we have had
Hmm.
this discussion.
Yeah.
He's I mean innocent. मतलब, I don't know. Yeah, there was no need for it in this movie.
Yeah, it was very randomly placed. मतलब मुझे लगा कि वो फिल्म के references,
And
because it was, हाँ,
it's
you
kind
say.
of shitting on the character. So it's inside the house of the female character who's a film critic, right? So why would she have that? Isn't isn't his isn't he accused of being like a, I don't know, a molester or something like
He's
that,
accused of being a pedophile, but yeah.
pedophile, like grooming, like he groomed someone, like
Yeah. His own
basically his
stepdaughter.
daughter, yeah,
Yeah, he's
stepdaughter, right?
his own stepdaughter. Yeah.
हाँ, तो मतलब why, what is the need,
So yeah,
what's
I don't understand what is. Yeah, I agree. Where I don't understand the point of this kind of an attempt. I think it's very out of place. It's also weird. I'm not mentioning who the serial killer in this movie is. For we might do those spoilers later, but right now we're not doing that. So I think it would make sense अगर उसके घर पे वो होता, if he's like, so, if he's like a complete film bro, and
हाँ.
मतलब वो he would defend anything to the death. So I
अच्छा, we're
think
not
वो,
spoiling it or what?
we can spoil it. We can spoil it. I thought कि पहले थोड़ा निकाल देते हैं, and those who haven't watched uh can sort of. But yeah, I think one thing, I'll tell you another thing. What got clarified for me with this film, Himanshu, which
Hmm.
was कि I realized, because we do this podcast and it teeters on the teeters on the edge of film criticism, right?
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
think but we're not film critics. I don't think none of us consider ourselves to be film critics, even though we've had like 84 episodes of this podcast. I think what we do is we are primarily filmmakers, and we like to talk about movies, right? So I think in that sense, this film clarified for me where I stand, just that I'm firmly with the filmmakers. Not that I want to kill critics, but I understood. I mean, I understood something about myself, which is, what do I enjoy more? Is it talking about films, or is it not from what the
Making.
film? Yeah, I'm not saying I got this from the conclusion that the film draws, which is sort of flawed also. But I understood that about myself कि नहीं, मेरे को making में ज़्यादा मजा आता है, like that, than talking about it.
Definitely, because I
हाँ.
mean, we analyze stuff and we talk about it in a fun way, right?
Yeah.
And the way the critics talk about film criticism in the movie, we are not like that.
Hmm.
Definitely not like that. So for theek hai, I get you, and I would rather also be on the side of people who make content and make movies rather than like just bland, like blatantly criticize.
Hmm.
So yeah.
But that said, we also don't shy away from shitting on film. So I think that much we also keep that. Okay, हम
Yeah.
लोग, but before I come to you about your opinion, the reason I was saying I really loved it, not loved it,
Hmm.
I really liked it, or
Hmm.
maybe I did love, but it was because, dude, it's such a proper Bombay film, and a
Hmm.
lot of other films miss this out. I think Luck by Chance, this when they're talking about movies, they're not able to perfectly capture Bombay. I think in this they captured Bombay really well. It was shot very well around Bandra. It was shot on the roads. I really like that part of it. It was very obviously shot on real locations. In fact, to the point that मेरे को पीछे दिख रहा था कि ये शिवसेना का पोस्टर है. मेरे को I could see the faces and also I could tell that. So उस हिसाब से मुझे बहुत ही अच्छी मुझे I think more than anything, Dulquer Salman was a very good performer. I think Shreya Dhanvantri is also damn good. I think I am here for the Sunny Deol redemption arc. I am totally here for it. I really enjoyed watching him in a investigator role. The last time he did this, don't ask me why I know so much about Sunny Deol, but he did a movie with the cricketer Ajay Jadeja called Khel. Okay, which is a really shit film. He also played in where he's also like investigating a murder and stuff. So I just thought it was that I मेरे को उसका थोड़ा flashback आ रहा था जो मैंने बचपन में मूवी देखी थी एक बार. तो but I really liked his performance also. I found it to be very charming um that way. But तू बता तुझे कैसी लगी?
I had a couple of opinions, like some ideas that the film could have done better. I'll get to it,
Hmm.
but I liked it. I really liked it. Same as you, I felt like it was at least original. You know,
हाँ मुझे वो
at the
तरस
very, मतलब, right after watching like a manufactured, like a factory made
fuck
movie called
Brahmastra.
Brahmastra
Yeah,
and
fuck that.
Samshera, like we watched,
Hmm.
it's like it's made out of, I don't know where all these movies came out from. You know, like these movies, they're so like a factory made perfect stuff and yet so dull, and you can't sit through it in 2 घंटा. ऐसे लगता है कि किसी ने, somebody's battered your head with a
That's
bat
because
of,
those films were not written on Final Draft Pro or X or Celtex. They were written on Microsoft Excel. That's the reason why those films are so shitty. And this one really felt. That's what I was also saying. कि वो,
yeah.
very
So
original.
देख, original है, engaging, at least engaging है, characters at least बात ऐसे कर रहे हैं जैसे normal लोग बात करते हैं.
Hmm.
उतना अगर हो जाता है ना तो मतलब at least I'm in, they're letting me in. हाँ, and you're right, this guy, we are missing out on Sunny Deol. That's what I felt after this
I
movie.
want
Like,
Sunny Deol to be back, dude.
wait, to
Yeah.
bring him back, give him good. So there is, so I've realized what kind of casting happens in Bollywood. And there are two types of casting. One is for the movie, like पुराना type का casting होता था, right? Like for एक hero, एक villain और एक heroine, right?
जो अभी
And
भी
you
होता है
cast.
मतलब.
अभी भी होता है.
हाँ.
Some people are still in that zone.
Zone.
And there is like a smart casting happening. Like, you look at how the character looks like, and a casting agency really tries to look for the perfect person for the perfect role. Sunny Deol has been in that other zone, right? He's been getting cast as the lead or whatever, but he doesn't need to, because he's an interesting guy. People like him, and
Hmm.
we want to see him again. But the problem is, उसको ना हमेशा hero बना के ना, like अब थोड़ा he's also like age हो गया ना. So give him some interesting stuff to do, give him easy stuff to do. He doesn't have to like take out a hand pump all the time.
Yeah.
So this one felt like that. It felt like he's a normal human. Detective है, ठीक है, so he looks like one. He could pull it off. Like he could pull off a cop, And when he jumped out of the window,
ओए स्पॉइलर बड़ी. वो तो
guys,
पोस्टर में है वो. हाँ.
this is not a spoiler. When he does
हाँ.
that, na,
Hmm.
it's still sold. At
Hmm.
least, मतलब you buy it a little bit, even if it hurts you कि इस movie में हुआ. It's still कि अच्छा इसने किया तो ठीक है. And I felt like there was a reason for this. There's like a double layer of casting Sunny Deol in this movie. It's not just because he's a good performer, good actor, and he needed to come back or something. I felt like he represented mainstream Bollywood in a story like this.
Correct.
Because this movie is about criticism, and it has actors who are currently at the top, but still, like I'm forgetting the name of the actress. Okay, but she's also really popular on OTT. I've seen her in a lot of shows, and
Hmm.
Dalker is very popular anyway, right? All over.
Hey, Shreya Dhanvantari was in Scam, no? That's the
Yeah,
most.
she was in Scam. Yeah.
Hmm.
So these two actors are really popular right now. So it's
Hmm.
good that they are here in this movie, and then Sunny Deol really brings in his charm. I found his scenes to be funny, even if it was
Yeah.
unintentional.
Dude, one second. My favorite moment in the film was watching Sunny Deol, okay, Sunny Gadar Deol say fuck in a movie. I loved it. I remember मोहल्ला हंसी में उसने काफी गाली दिया है,
हाँ,
but
गाली दिया.
इसमें ना just वो काफी emotion से आया, and I thought it was really cool. I was like, that's why I'm also in favor of casting people like Sunny Deol. There were a lot of interesting faces and interesting actors of 2000s and 90s Bollywood. I think Anil Kapoor is trying to have that kind of a resurgence. Sunny Deol is trying to have that kind of a thing.
Anil Kapoor is at the top only. He's still
Yeah, yeah.
there only.
I'm saying all these people, I think they're very, very good actors. Unlike a lot of the others who only ever want to do hero roles, and they all most of them suck at it in my opinion. I think if a lot of them drop their ego, like I'm pretty sure ऐसा कोई role मतलब इसमें it's not like Sunny Deol has been given like a love interest, or it's like he's just a guy, he's just like
Yeah.
somebody who loves his job, like just, and I
बहुत ही
believe that.
स्टीरियोटिपिकल, बहुत ही
हाँ,
स्टीरियोटिपिकल, बट अच्छा लगा यार सनी देओल को करके,
हाँ,
मतलब गन
exactly,
पकड़ के घूम रहा है,
correct,
इंटरेस्टिंग, एटलीस्ट एंगेजिंग, ओके, एट द वेरी लीस्ट.
हाँ.
And when he says stuff na, some things are just unintentionally funny, but it's great because he's at least having fun.
Yeah.
Fair enough, at least better than Ranbir Kapoor just like
Hmm.
looking like doing nothing in drama. So it felt so refreshing to at least have someone be free in front of the camera, at least that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So apart from that, so do you want me to tell you what my idea was? What I thought could have been done better? Should we go into the spoiler zone?
Yeah, we can go into the spoiler zone, but before we go on to that, there are a couple things that I want to point out
Hmm.
about this film and around this film. पहली बात तो the film centers, for those of you who haven't seen, without spoilers, the context is that there's a serial killer on the loose in Mumbai who has been killing film critics who give a certain kind of reviews, a certain kind of stars to films, and is the basic plot. Sunny Deol is a police officer. Shreya Dhanvantari is a wannabe film critic. She works in like a Miss Malini type, or not Miss Malini, but like a digital portal where she writes lifestyle stuff, but she wants to write film reviews. And all of this is happening. Dulquer Salman is like her sort of love interest in a sense, and other things also. So I mean, that is the context of the film, and a lot of the points that it tries to draw out, right? Like, um I so about the film, it is this कि जैसे अमिताभ बच्चन का cameo होता है, he's talking about film criticism, that we should be ready for any kind of reviews, and we should be आलोचना हमें स्वीकार करनी पड़ेगी and all that stuff. um and towards the end of the film, there's basically this thing of that people spend a lot of time and money and a lot of their own lives, which is true. People often take years to make a film, and critics can just sort of pull them down. And in the middle, throughout, whoever the killer is, that person's obsession is also around this thing of ki, people, that cinema needs to grow, and cinema needs to that's not a spoilery part. Spoilery part comes later, but that's basic. Ki, so I think that part of the film, it tries to draw out a lot of these sort of conclusions. It doesn't give a definitive conclusion that this is how, like, it doesn't sit on a high horse and say कि critics तो ऐसे होते हैं कि मतलब critics क्या होते हैं, मतलब वो तो कुछ भी नहीं, like the Ratatouille का thing, that the worst piece of art is also more valuable than a criticism or of it or whatever. ऐसा कुछ Ratatouille या कहीं और ये line है. But I don't think the film is making that point. And around the film, I read some reviews. So normally मैं राहुल देसाई के पढ़ता हूँ, ठीक है. Now I read some other reviews because I guess he's on holiday or something, so he did not review this film. And dude, I'm telling you, this genuinely, if you read like average film critics like across portals, I there's genuinely very low quality writing, and really not clearly not the ability to form a coherent argument about or against a film, for or against a film. I mean, people are literally just describing the plot, describing, pulling plot holes without actually looking at or saying that, oh, is the film trying to say this by, that critics should be, that we are. I'm like, a lot of critics, like, you can tell they're trying not to, but in their writing, you can tell that they're feeling like the film is against us because it's taking this position that critics shit on people's hard work. But I don't think the film is really making that point. It's so I didn't really mind that. But anyway, yeah, you go on with your thing.
चलो ठीक है, I'll
You were
just tell
saying what
you.
you thought could be better. And we
Yeah.
can go into spoilers now. So spoilers for Chup.
So spoilers for Chup. So the end, right? When we find out that the character, मैं बोल रहा हूँ, spoil कर रहा हूँ अब.
So I'll get
The character of Dalki Salman, we knew all along that he was the
about from
killer.
halfway we know that Dulquer is the killer.
हाँ,
Yeah.
and I liked it, बोल दिया, मतलब इतना कोई
Frankly,
मतलब.
I knew from the first scene. तो ये हमने
हाँ,
spoiler warning दी है. But actually, अगर आप movie देखने जाओ और आपने
ट्रेलर में ही
अगर
पता
आपने
चल जाता
हाँ,
है.
अगर आपने 4 मूवी भी देखी है तो आपको ये पता होगा कि ये ही है.
हाँ,
Which I
and
don't think the film
they
doesn't
never
try
try to
to.
hide it. हाँ.
Yeah.
And so we find out that, as a child he went through a lot of stuff, and I liked that sequence. I thought it was made well, shot well. No, not shot well, like intentionally shot in a bad way, because he was a
उसकी
student filmmaker.
उसकी
हाँ.
फिल्म बहुत ही फकौल थी. I really
हाँ.
wanted that joke तो, वो मेरे को थोड़ा फकौल लगा. वो पार्ट
क्या
मेरे को
joke?
उतना खास नहीं लगा. I thought कि जो डुलकर सलमान जो फिल्म बनाता है अपनी, जो पिट जाती है और वो, and then they watch it. It's a shit film, okay? Whatever they show of it. So I'm like, and when people, I wanted it to be like that the projector shuts, Sunny Deol says कि यार काफी बकवास फिल्म थी वैसे. I
I
wanted it to be
wanted
like,
ulta, bro.
yeah.
I wanted it to be ulta. I wanted them to be.
हाँ.
I wanted it to be like movies shit. Like movie ka quality is so low production value, badly made, not acted well. Everything is terrible, and yet when the movie shuts, they are in a state of shock, or they are awestruck, or at least they sympathize or empathize with the character enough that they're silent for a moment. It explains stuff. I wanted the seriousness to be maintained, but the moment the movie finished, na, Sunny Deol is like, इस type के लोगों के साथ तो ऐसा ही होगा. And it went like, he said something like in that zone ki, no wonder he's like that. And I felt like, why
हाँ,
did
वो
you
बहुत ही खराब.
don't pass a judgment on this person's life? Even you are doing the same thing which like everybody else has done, and this movie was like trying to avoid that. So if you would have, what if Sunny Deol, this Bollywood guy, this guy who's acted in so many like mainstream Bollywood movies and so, he represents like that side of the industry, right? What if this guy watches a student film and deeply connects with it? Won't that be a more symbolic moment for at
Right.
least for me?
Correct.
And I thought that would be very perfect casting. Not just like the casting would be justified, like not just because he's a good, he's playing an interesting role or whatever. It's also being justified because it's symbolic to some extent. And I would have wanted that. But it didn't happen. And ultimately, when they go to the prison, and he turns around and he does the pyasa pose,
The
right?
Gurudat Pyasa wala.
Huh. Do you think like adding all those jokes around it, ki South Korea loved this movie, does that? Do you think that was fine? Or do you
I
think?
thought that was okay. I'll tell you what. मैं तेरी point पे थोड़ा सा वो करना चाहूँगा.
I wanted it to be serious, but I think you wanted to be fun.
नहीं, I wanted it to be, देख, एक difference होता है. It's not about serious or fun. I wanted it to be intelligent, and it was intelligent for me to a large extent, except for, that's what I'm saying. There were lots of random stupid moments like the Woody Allen thing, or certain dialogue, or certain kind of moments which are stupid. Apart from that, what you were said, that was the major problem for me in the end, when they're like कि ऐसी जिंदगी हो तो ऐसा ही हो जाएगा आदमी, मतलब इंसान ऐसे, which I thought the film, so इतना मेरे को लेके आए हाई कॉन्सेप्ट इसमें और अजीब फिल्म है, and I'm having fun, and you give me इतना थका हुआ like random, like
one sentence में
movie
उसको
line,
put down कर दिया.
करेक्ट. तूने एक ही लाइन में पूरी फिल्म की इंटेलिजेंस को थोड़ा ध्वस्त कर दिया. सो आई थॉट कि वो थोड़ा सा अजीब था. But apart from that, I thought वो सब jokes were fun. I think the प्यासा, I recognize the कागज के फूल when he reads कागज के फूल. I was like, oh, कागज, when he's making it only. जब वो
Hmm.
गुरुदत्त का फोटो वोटो भी दिखाने शुरू कर देते हैं.
हाँ, but that's in the trailer also. It's
Hmm.
there. But I like the, so in the film there is a version of so mostly they've used the original, but they have recreated one version, one song, and I think it's which one is it here? Is it do you remember which song they recreated from Pyasa? The one which they
Oh, जाने क्या तूने कही, जाने क्या मैंने.
नहीं, that one they
Huh?
used the original version and they recreated. Wait, I'll tell you which one. Hey, yaar, एक one of them. I really like
Is
that
it the
version.
is it the last वाला, the from the Jesus cross वाला pose of
No,
his
उससे
wall?
पहले उससे पहले
ये
during the
दुनिया
time
अगर
of
वो तो आया ही नहीं, I think.
आया है वो recreate नहीं किया.
Hmm.
वो आया है, but yeah, मतलब एक गाना उन्होंने recreate किया था. I'm forgetting the name. It might be the one which जाने वो कैसे लोग थे. I think they did that one.
हाँ, right.
So I want that version to come out because it's not out on Spotify or anywhere right now. So
Hmm.
I feel like, and it's a female singer, right? This time I really liked it. I would
Hmm.
rather they put it out properly.
And you are a simp for that era का music, no? I've noticed.
I do get, I do listen to, yeah, I do like
Hmm.
some songs from some movies, थोड़ा old.
Hey, वो उसका भी किया, from प्यासा, that one, the तेल मालिश song. वो जब भी
सर
वो
जो तेरा
cycling कर,
चक्रा है.
हाँ, सर जो तेरा चक्कर. That also they did a nice. I thought यार वही तो मुझे लगा कि ये, बॉलीवुड में किसमें दम होता है कि मैं मेटा जाऊं और I'll talk about Gurudutt and I'll talk about all this other history of cinema. I felt like it was, that's why I really liked it as a film about Bollywood and a film about Mumbai, because it is just to show that the love for cinema in Bombay goes outside of these fucking idiots. Like whenever they make their films about, even vaguely about movies, it's always like, it's always about their own lives a little bit. It's always, even though no, one exception obviously is Zoya Akhtar's this thing, Luck by Chance,
Luck
which
by
was
chance.
also great, but very different kind of film. But this was truly, like, I thought, like somebody who loves cinema, loves Bollywood, loves Mumbai, and is trying to tell a story of something that happened here once upon a time. So it's like similar to, I would say, in that sense, to Raman Raghav 2.0. Not as good. I'm not even suggesting that, but in that, because Raman Raghav 2.0 was, it came after the Shriram Raghavan, because he's already made that film that never released on,
Hmm.
I think, Psycho Raman ऐसा कुछ तो उसका नाम था. So
हाँ.
उसका second part बनाया in a sense के अनुराग कश्यप ने. So I think in that sense, talking about a legendary story from Hindi cinema of Gurudutt, failure and decline and eventual death, I think that was, I loved it for that reason. That there is this crazed Gurudutt fan, um, who has his own reasons but is sort of obsessed with protecting
Do you
filmmakers.
think the log line? I feel like the film that we are watching and the film that was written was थोड़ा different. मुझे like you can tell like this is more, मतलब a lot of things have happened and now this movie has come out, right? Do you think the log line was, what if somebody went through what Gurudutt का character in
I
Pyasa
know
went
the
through?
log line. I know where this has come from. I think I read somewhere today or yesterday about R. Balki feeling very, very angry after Chini. I think he directed Chini Kam.
Yeah.
So he felt really pissed off after that.
Hmm.
And he basically read somebody had written like a really trashy review, like really trashed the fuck out of the movie. I haven't seen it yet, but yeah, so he felt that anger at that time, and he just wrote it down as an idea ki what if there is a filmmaker whose first film fails, and then this person sets out to take revenge from critics, which is a novel idea, I think, in itself. It's a fun kind of a
Yeah.
concept to explore, you
But
know.
आर बाल्की का filmography भी explore करना चाहिए. I feel
Hmm.
like as a director मैंने उसकी सारी फिल्में देखी है. मतलब जितनी अभी तक निकली है. I have seen Shamita Pa. English is not directed by him, but I think it's directed
It's
by,
directed by Gayatri something. I think she's his wife,
yeah,
I
yeah.
think.
I've seen
But
that.
yeah,
I've
somebody
seen
can
Dear
tell us.
Zindagi. Dear Zindagi भी
Dear
देखा है मैंने.
Zindagi is by Arbal ki.
Yeah.
Oh,
Chinikam. Dear Zindagi is by R. Balki, I think. Yeah. And you can tell, yeah, you can tell what is directed by because they
No,
seem
no.
like
Dear Zindagi is again by his. It's yeah. We should really know the name. Wait, I'm gonna Google it. You go on. Huh.
is Kian Ka directed by this guy?
Yeah, Key and Kai is which I did not watch.
You have not seen that one, no?
No, did
I've
you?
seen his films. Yeah, I have seen it. Kian Ka is by him. Chup. Padman is by him. I haven't
Gauri
seen
Shinde.
Padman.
Gauri Shinde. I think the
Yeah,
wife of R. Balki. She has made both of those. But yeah, both are. I did not. I'm not too fond of.
which
I
one?
liked English. I did not like Dear Zindagi. Famously Himanshu, if you remember in real life. But yeah, never mind. Inside joke. So,
No,
uh,
so I think what I was trying to say is
hmm.
having watched all of his movies except for Padman. I've not seen Padman for some reason. So I think
Oh,
there is
Padman was by R. Balki.
at least it's here
अबे
online on
एटलीस्ट
Google.
मतलब फिर होगी ही ना मतलब
मैं गूगल कर रहा हूँ यार.
हाँ
हाँ, it's directed by R. Balki.
oh
Padman भी.
damn hmm
Yeah, there is something off with his style of filmmaking. It doesn't seem like his movies don't seem very real. Even if he's trying to make them real, it seems very like plotty and very stagey, like a play or something. And up until now, na, we have that's why we have taken him very lightly and written him off. Like nobody talks about him as a storyteller. But I feel
hmm
like his sensibilities match well with like a dark comedy, like a Chup. And now that's why it's come out better. And the fakeness of his characters or whatever, they seem like they seem well suited for a story like this. So like it finally hit, his
now
story.
it's even more interesting for me after you because I thought he had made I knew he had made Chinikam Pa I had seen. I have not seen any others. I knew he'd made Shamitab, so I was like ye sab to high concept and Kienka. But the fact that this is his background, I think this is a very interesting turn of events.
Yeah.
And I would be excited to see what comes next. Padman, I can't say much for, but yeah, I think the Amir Khan has said R. Balki's Sundar definitely always a little odd, and I think I like that. I think there is some stylistic courage shown in that, which you can see in dude the visual language, and he definitely has an eye. I don't know who the cinematographer is, but special shout out because either the cinematographer or Al Balki or both have a very good eye for great images and great cinematic images that look good on the big screen. Like one of my favorites was Jabi wo when Shreya Dhanvantari is going and it starts to rain and he
Hmm.
just sort of dances in the rain for a little bit, and there's that light, which is of course a lot of references from cinema, but I found that to be very, very interesting. And I found that to be very uske images are very well thought out, largely. Um, and that is unfortunately very rare in Hindi cinema. In fact, most of the good directors also they tend to have just an explosion of color. Most famously, somebody like a Raju Irani, there is almost always they're just like pastel color. ये orange wall, ये yellow wall, ये green wall. ठीक,
Hmm.
मतलब it just looks very ugly on screen. It doesn't look well thought out. इधर वो एक बहुत ही clear visual language दिखता है, which I am very happy with Chup at least. Um,
I find it.
yeah.
I got reminded of RK because I felt like
Hmm.
uh, it's another one of those movies which came out this year, which was well made, well thought out, contained in its story. Like अपने
Meta,
story में था
super meta.
meta, हाँ, looks good, decently made, and then like funny enough, funny but not too funny. I
Hmm.
felt like it worked there. Like both the films were nice. So
Listen, I am here for like 100 of these films, even if they are flawed, even if they are half good. Okay. And I think this one is definitely better than half good. And RK though I think was really, really good. But I'm here for like hundreds of these half good films where people are clearly taking a risk or trying to go meta or trying to tell a new kind of story, which people are here for, I'm sure. And rather than the kind of mania and hysteria that people try to create over films like you mentioned, like Brahmastra or other big ticket tentpole films, which I think are good for, I guess, the economy or for the film economy. But I think just as a viewer and just as somebody who likes to watch movies, I think it's these are much better. I would any day take this over that.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to Eras though. He's in the chats.
Oh yeah, Eraz is in the chat and he's saying, oh yeah, Eraz, by the way, just context for people on other, he's a member of the Disscontent WhatsApp group, as you can also be if you join our membership, either on Buy Me a Coffee or by pressing the join button. So Eraz on the group we had a pretty good discussion because he hated the film. So Eraz, please tell us
I
your
don't want to
views.
know, like, yeah,
Um,
seriously, I want to know, like, why, what
इतना क्या
happened?
बुरा लग गया यार एराज? मेरे को तो लगा कि लोग जैसे बात भी कर रहे थे, जैसे तूने भी बताया, आई थिंक हिमांशु, द वे दे आर टॉकिंग like Dulquer Salman talking to himself, right? And that whole thing, I thought that also could have been really shit. Okay, films have tried this kind of thing and it turns out, but his performance and generally the way it's written, it felt very very realistic and it felt very
मतलब
understandable.
cringe नहीं लगा. Cringe. It
Cringe
wasn't
nahi
like
laga,
what the
cringe
hell
nahi
is
laga.
happening.
Correct.
And they pulled it off. And even when he is all psycho, like when he's gone
Hmm.
all, it's not bad. It's not cringy or anything. It's
Yeah,
funny.
you know why it's not cringy?
I
Because
like
he
the jokes.
commits, dude. Because he
Huh.
commits. Once he, spoilers. Once he decides that Shreya Dhanvantri has to die,
Die.
so then
Then
he's like
the
full commit. It's not like other films where it's like वो थोड़ा सा
so I'll tell
शंका
you
है
the
दिमाग में,
so
you know.
the biggest flaw in the script now, the fucking
Hmm.
problem I had, which kind of pulled me out completely, was this character they built up as this smart young lady journalist, like, trying to become something in life, has an ambition,
Hmm.
has feelings for this character. Very well written, I thought, up until a point when she puts herself in this position that she is the bait for the serial killer, and
Hmm.
then she goes all nuts. She loses her
No, no,
sense
but
of
you know
human
what?
being.
That's a real anxiety attack. I thought that was also acted well.
No,
Performed very well.
acted well, but यार उसको
Hmm.
पता था वो what she's getting. ठीक है, चलो flaw. It's a character
अरे
flaw.
बट यार तू सोचना, उसने कर दिया भाई, कर दिया उसने थोड़ा सा, फिर उसको obviously and for good reason, clearly
But
she
she
was.
shouted and all for no. She went
हाँ.
nuts. Like it wasn't like it was like hysteria, you know. And how do you like just make a character go nuts
I'll tell
immediately?
you, no, I'll tell you what this was. This was a much cheaper, much more sasta version of what happens in Zodiac nahi, Mindhunter. When Holt, when those of you all who watched Mindhunter, the main character Holt, when he goes to Himanshu, when he goes to watch, when he goes to meet this guy Ed Kemper towards the end of the first season, and
Yeah, yeah,
he
yeah.
and that's when Ed Kemper tells him, you know, this is what fear is, and you think you know everything, but you don't. And I thought this was a very thakawa version of that. I think they did not succeed in getting that emotion across properly. Thankfully उसकी acting अच्छी थी तो at least believable लगा. But I would think they wanted to show कि तुमने movies देख ली, तुमको ये सब करना है, ठीक है, but when it gets real, it gets very very real. Okay, now these people have commented eras. I actually was liking the film up until the interval point. I didn't find the first half very extraordinary, but it was breezy. But after the interval, it just began sinking. And Shaurya has said, Chup may be great movie, but it's at least interesting and made by a filmmaker on his own terms. 100 times better than any formula film, whether it's Marvel or historical Hindu movies in India. I agree. We've said the same thing. But Eras, I do agree with you, Eras, that it first half is very, very well constructed. Um, and the second half is not as
Yeah,
good,
so
but
the build up is nice, and then what happens is the second half, now they start indulging in the ethics of a film critic a lot, huh? And the
hmm,
Dilkir really gets into the lines that come out of his mouth by when he's kind of trying to kill, like when he has her in the Mehboob studio, I think, right?
hmm,
The stuff that he says, na, it's like too long. बहुत लंबा बोलता है. We understood, like we didn't need that whole stuff.
right.
And he goes on and on and on and until like the whatever the climax happens. So I thought ki they, yeah, Era says, I thought that the makers were really confused between making a who done it, yeah, why done it, and then some random
Rand.
commentary on film. Yeah, that's what, there's a mix.
ये तो हमने बोला भी शुरू में, दैट टोन में बहुत सारी प्रॉब्लम्स है. मेरे को तो वो भी लगा कि वो समझ नहीं पा रही है कैसी टाइप की. एंड एज आई वाज टेलिंग यू अर्लियर दैट द कटिंग बिटवीन द टू कैरेक्टर्स आल्सो eras and the intention of the serial killer was not clearly defined for me. It felt very melodramatic. Yes, I agree. All of those things, but I think all of that come secondary for me. For me, the first thing was whether it was I was interested till the end. I was definitely engaged, as you also pointed out. But हाँ यार, मुझे तो Sunny Deol is Khadir has said Sunny Deol is like Nicolas Cage of India alone. I would love to see Sunny Deol as I think he has the potential to be Nicolas Cage of India.
Yeah,
You know, if he
yeah,
just
he
does a
can.
few more of these movies, just don't go back to Yamla Pagla Diwana. Like don't just keep on doing hammering on that Punjabi identity again and again. I think he's much more than that. Yeah, I think he's a good actor.
And you know, अभी टीवी में ना, like I कभी कभी पुरानी मूवीज चल जाती है, right? And मैंने सनी देओल की कोई पुरानी फिल्म देखी, and I saw the stunts he was doing.
Hmm.
I it's unbelievable what action he has pulled off back in the day. पूरा प्लेन को पकड़ के हाथ से, प्लेन को पकड़ के रोक के रखा हुआ है, बोट्स में, मतलब he's firing machine guns and boats and stuff,
Correct.
एकदम going, like he's done crazy shit. He's
Hmm.
jumped from plane to plane and stuff. He's done some stuff nobody's seen, like those movies nobody cares about.
Didn't he
But
once crash into Mukesh Ambani's house in Gadar? In which one? In Ghayal 2, Ghayal Returns में. Those of
वो
you
तो
who
यार
have had the
अभी निकली
pleasure.
है, घायल तो
हाँ,
just came out.
but I'm just
But
pointing out in his list of accomplishments. Yeah, go on.
हाँ, but like I felt like he is थोड़ा underrated, थोड़ा सा underrated. We have
No, he's
forgotten.
not underrated. Let's be clear about that. I think he is but I think he's watchable for sure. He
हाँ, yeah.
has that quality of being on
Better than
screen.
Bobby.
Arey bhai, Miles clearly the overachiever of the family. But yeah, वो तो clearly. And Isha Deol's last this thing was that Tushar Kapoor Tushar Kapoor book launch video, no, that she put on Instagram.
Isha, I don't know, bro. I
Bhai,
don't
ये
follow
लोग
her on Insta.
no, you don't know, but this went viral. Okay, when
हाँ,
this podcast ends, you need to go and search for this on YouTube. It was crazy. She was promoting. मैं आता हूँ उसके comment पे. She was promoting Tushar Kapoor's book and she went insane. Okay, like bhai, when you watch that, na, it's a very badly made. She's singing a song to promote the book. So and I'm like, dude, we grew up with movies that these people are making. इन लोग से रील नहीं बनता, ठीक है, ढंग से. जो आधे मास मीडिया स्टूडेंट्स आपको अपने नींद में बना के बेटर एक रील देंगे, दे कांट मेक अ प्रमोशनल रील, ठीक है. और ये लोग हमारे दे डिक्टेटेड द सिनेमा ऑफ आवर चाइल्डहुड. ऑलराइट, सो दिस इज व्हाई आवर लव हेट रिलेशनशिप विद बॉलीवुड. Yeah, Eraz's comment now. Himanshu, बोल दे.
and the editing I found horrible. True, complete. And I'll
The
tell you that's the
intercut
problem with.
between the serial killer and the love story didn't work for me. That's what we pointed out. Huh.
हाँ. So this film na, it's not so. मतलब you have to take this one lightly only. I think. मतलब you have to
Hmm.
kind of forgive these things, because if you're coming out from these high-end movies, na, Brahmastra and all, who have put in like 1,000 times more money and effort into this, like I feel like this one can be forgiven, thoda sa, because half the people, rest of, like the laymen don't care. At
Hmm.
least that's what I feel. I don't know. What do you think?
एराज इज सेइंग अरे सब उसने जो अगला पॉइंट बोला वो भी हम बोल चुके हैं ऑलरेडी. एराज इज सेइंग अरे सब पॉइंट्स से अग्री कर रहे हैं हम लोग. आई थिंक
हाँ,
दैट्स व्हाट इट इज. आई थिंक मे बी एराज को उतना फटीग नहीं हुआ बॉलीवुड का. हमें थोड़ा शायद ज्यादा हो गया कि हमें थोड़ा सा भी कुछ मिलता है हम लोग उसको प्रसाद
हाँ,
मान के खा लेते हैं. बट ये बिकॉज नॉर्मली तो हमें मतलब भाई, अगर मैंने जो लास्ट मैं बताता हूँ, मैं लास्ट हमने कौन सी देखी है, मैंने देखी है दोबारा देखी है जो मुझे ठीक ठाक लगी.
हम्म.
लाल सिंह चड्ढा देखी जो ठीक ठाक लगी. ब्रह्मास्त्र देखी है और शमशेरा देखी है जो दोनों बहुत ही घटिया और निहायत ही घटिया फिल्म है. तो भाई उसके बाद ये मैं देख रहा हूँ ना, मुझे थोड़ा होप आ रहा है, ठीक है. सडनली मुझे लग रहा है मेरे 150 रुपए कहीं पर कोई अच्छी चीज में गए हैं. कम से कम कुछ
And bro,
कुछ ट्राई
date
तो कर रहा
so
है कोई. हाँ.
I love the cinema day idea, because
हम्म.
एक तो पीवीआर ने 75 कर दिया, ठीक है. ऊपर से I told you, right, I had privilege membership, okay, or something
हम्म.
like that, which they
तेरे को
only gave me.
तेरे को 25 रुपए में जाने को मिला ना.
I got 2 tickets for 45 rupees, not even
डैम
each,
कूल. हम्म.
together. And I feel like there's a fucking rat in my
There's a
room, man.
rat in your room. Himanshu, show it, forget.
I'm not gonna show
Okay.
this. Fuck off.
अरे why not?
Live that.
भाई वो रैट है और क्या है. सर हटाना अपना, मेरे को देखने का है. किधर गया भाई? It disappeared.
Acha, this is, by the way, okay, so I'll just clarify, this
But
is
for
not my room.
audio listeners, this is हिमांशु के कमरे में जहाँ वो बैठा है अभी, उधर एक रैट है जो अभी उसके पर्दे से अभी उसके पैर के पास शायद आ रहा होगा. हिमांशु जरा संभाल.
So I just want to
हाँ.
clarify, this is not my room. Huh? My house is getting renovated right.
This is your room. What are you talking about?
No, it's not. It's not. It's not. I keep my stuff here because there's this
Okay,
lamp here
cool.
which marvels light on my face.
We bought the explanation. But
Got it.
Mr. Pink has sorry, Mr. Pink has said Ratatouille, which is good because see, we were talking about film critics, and Ratatouille is another great film about film critics. So sorry, or
Ah,
critics in general. So very cool stuff, guys. Okay, please, for fuck's sake, give us a super chat or like join our membership and give us some fucking money so we can actually invest in a studio and Himanshu doesn't have to shoot in places which have rats walking around behind him. देखो क्या हालत हो गई है हमारी. तो but yeah, this is too funny. Sorry. I Vikas Singale. I was I was hoping he would recreate his Damini dialogue too. इस पेशे को भड़वागिरी कहते हैं. Yeah, that would have
I think somebody should write a movie like how Nicolas Cage got,
been.
the talent of क्या था यार, unbearable weight of massive talent. Somebody
हाँ.
needs to do that for Sunny Deol.
Hmm.
And the unbearable weight is ढाई किलो का
I
हाथ होगा
would
मतलब.
show up first day first show for a super meta Sunny Deol playing Sunny Deol film. I would
हाँ,
like the Rajat Kapoor ने किया था. Rajat Kapoor on the as we spoken that podcast so because he's Rajat Kapoor. Not too many
not
people,
fun.
not too many people care also that much. मतलब I mean, we like his movies and all, but uh, I'm sure more well-off podcasters also have rats in the house. आमिर खान भाई साहब आप मतलब 2000 करोड़ कमा के हमारे पेट पे क्यों लात मार रहे हो मतलब हमको जीने दो ना यार हमको अपना अपील करने दो थोड़ा सेल्समैनशिप करने दो आपको क्या जा रहा है Eras genuine question do you guys really think that people aren't showing up at the movies because the ticket prices are too high. I mean sure movies are made but are tickets too pricey for our economy?
Yeah,
Yes, 100%. I went
they're killing
today.
movies.
Yeah,
They
yeah, I went.
definitely.
I'm lucky to be a freelancer. I went today in like at 5 o'clock to watch it, and the
Hmm.
theater was full. It's a weekday. This is, I think, it's well into its second week. I think people just really want some place to hang out. India में लोगों की कमी नहीं है, तो people just want to go hang out somewhere. And if it's movies, then it's movies. But nobody wants to go to a place where you have to spend 300 rupees or 250 rupees at least on a ticket, and then on top of that, you have to spend at least 600 rupees if you want to eat or drink something meaningful. So people will be like कि यार फिर तो मैं बाहर ही चले जाता हूँ ना, then I'll go to a fucking bar and have a couple of drinks. That would be better worth their money. So especially if the movies are so bad, so normally the movies are so bad. So I think that is the reason. I think tickets prices low करोगे तो आएंगे, definitely आएंगे लोग. I don't
Yeah,
think.
the hall that I was in for Chup, the hall was full.
Hmm.
आगे तक लोग बैठे हुए थे and people had a good time. They were laughing.
पर तू
Like,
तो सिनेमा डे पे गया था, वो एक यूनिक दिन हो
यार
सकता
रात को
है.
10 बजे गया था
75
मैं.
रुपीज
रात को दस
भाई
बजे गए.
रात पे ही तो आते हैं ना लोग, पूरे दिन लोग काम करते हैं, वो शो फिर भी ऑक्यूपाइड होते हैं एवरेज मूवीज के लिए भी. बट आई एम सेइंग आफ्टरनून शोज अदरवाइज. या बट आई डू थिंक यार कि मतलब अभी जैसे इधर आई थिंक रेट्स लो किए हैं. ऑल मूवीज आर अबाउट 110 रुपीज आई थिंक थ्रू आउट द वीक. वीकेंड्स पे ज्यादा है.
I can कुछ ऐसी controversial opinion बोलूँ क्या? So
हाँ
they've
बोल
stopped
ना. हाँ.
they've stopped national anthem. You notice that word?
नो दे हैवंट स्टॉप. दे तेरे थिएटर में वो बजा नहीं रहा होगा. अभी
नहीं
तू
था
बोल
मेरे
दिया
थिएटर
अभी.
में. लास्ट 3-4
मैं
मूवीज में तो
आज ही नेशनल एंथम सुन के आया हूँ.
लास्ट मेरे तो 3-4 फिल्मों में नेशनल एंथम नहीं बजा. So and I've gone early only. So I feel like, see, I'm not giving something. Why are you smiling?
No, I'm just wondering what is happening in the state of Assam. What's going on, man?
तो मुझे लगा कि बाकी जगह भी हो गया होगा ये. I
नहीं
think they're
हुआ.
right. I think they're stopping this.
Hmm.
I think they're because I felt like I found it very disrespectful that national anthem was. I don't know if that's a like, unpopular opinion. I felt like the national anthem should not
Okay.
be played before like movies.
That too, I think we're all in agreement with.
I know.
And national anthem 100% should not be played in movies. 100%. उसमें तो कोई दो राय की बात ही नहीं. But
So
anyway,
yeah,
anything else on Chup? हम लोग सब सेम ही चीज बोले जा रहे हैं अभी. We liked it. We thought it was unique, but there are lots of flaws. But I think it merits a theater viewing. I think it's a fun. In
yeah,
my opinion, it's a fun viewing for sure. What about
same,
you? Yeah,
same.
cool. We can move on to the next. Shaurya has said national anthem is not compulsory. It's upon the theaters to decide. Um, all right. So I don't know about that, but yeah, I'm guessing that might be true. Himanshu, will move on to our next topic, which is of the new season of the great show Rick and Morty. And I have a point about this also, but I will come to that. Before that, I'm just going to take some older comments that we may have missed. Um, Hold on. I while Salman Dulkar, Mr. Pink, messing with my brain now. While, while Dulkar Salman is venturing into new territories, Salman Khan is going backwards, doing cameos in random films. Um, there is Shreya Sethi has also said season 1 of House of the Dragon is just the prologue apparently. So yeah, so you
कितने
Himanshu,
एपिसोड होने वाले हैं यार हाउस ऑफ ड्रैगन्स के
I guess 9
इस
होंगे 9-10 ही होंगे ऐसा कुछ. Aditya and Himanshu are my guru Dutt. Thank you before we very very
that's
very kind.
a you know na that's like almost a I don't know it sounds like a compliment but
हम्म.
it's also like because Guru Dutt kind of
हम लोग दारू पी के मर जाएंगे ये बोलने की कोशिश कर
yeah
रहे थे. हाँ,
yeah
basically. But Aditya and Himanshu honestly terrified to give Chup anything less than 4 stars. Yeah. ये इंडिया है, ये स्कॉर्सेजी, यहाँ स्कॉर्सेजी नहीं शेट्टी चलता है. Yeah, I mean they did all of these lines also, which was
yeah
another this thing of shade of making it meta. In fact, I liked वो सब भी जो scenes है ना ऐसे इंडस्ट्री के साथ थोड़े बहुत मतलब very like I like that dialogue where Sunny Deol comes out of like a main star, like a big star's vanity van who could easily be Bobby Deol, ठीक है, and he comes
yeah
out of that and he's like कि इससे serial killer की acting भी नहीं होगी, which was funny to me. Um, anyway, yeah, let's move on. But I just want to mention something else as well, which is कि यार please हमारे videos पे like, please if you can't afford to like sort of support us by a membership and all of that, or if you just wouldn't like to do that, you can like the videos and also please comment on the videos because we get a lot of live chat and that's a lot of fun. But if you guys comment just for traction also, that helps. Even if it helps like 5 or 6 people more watch the podcast, listen to the podcast, discover our shit, that will be really cool. So please do that and that will help us out. क्योंकि अभी हमें खाली रैंडम काफी अटैकिंग कमेंट्स ही आते हैं ना ज्यादातर, एंड पॉजिटिव सब लोग इधर ही लिख देते हैं या प्राइवेटली लिखते हैं. तो आप प्लीज यूट्यूब कमेंट्स में लिखिए, हमको भी थोड़ा हमको पर्सनली हमसे कुछ कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता. मेरे को डीएम्स में आके लोग लिखते हैं, बट यहाँ पर लिख दो, कमेंट्स में लिख दो, दैट विल बी रियली रियली नाइस and that'll be
plus
cool.
we are putting out matlab, I know we're reminding some of you guys but we're putting out some original content as well this year. At least 2 projects are in the pipeline, both short and edited and stuff. Listen, let's
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We'll conclude, but yeah, you carry on.
yeah yeah so matlab, for that we do need support, right? Like agar we put out films that don't like get views and stuff, it will be kind of sad
Mr.
after a
Pink
while.
has become a member and he's become a broker. Thank you so much, Mr. Pink. And Mr. Pink, you became a member last time as well, and you did
हाँ
not join the WhatsApp group, bhai. So I think he just wants to be anonymous. Maybe that's his trip. But
hmm.
please, we'd like to have you in the group. It's a lot of fun to talk to you over here as well. So if you can just send us a mail or DM us on Instagram, we'll add you to the group. But yeah, so I mean, what Himanshu said is true. We have 2 projects. One of them is Himanshu Arya's new short film. It's written and directed by Himanshu. It's written and directed by. तो थोड़े comments हम लोग पढ़ लेंगे साथ में अभी. थोड़ा सा last let's just conclude. But it's
Yeah
तेरी film की बात कर रहा हूँ. It's
yeah it's
Himanshu
written and
Arya's
directed
new
by
film.
me.
Yeah, and it's produced by Bharat and me, and Bharat and I are playing a small role in it also, which Himanshu convinced us for. And it is a superhero film. You'll be very happy to know. It's much better than Brahmastra. I can assure you of that right now. It's very funny. So please look out for that. Another film that we're putting out soon is a film जिसका trailer इस channel पे already है. It's called Himanshu.
आर्यन एंड में नहीं बचेगा.
Yes, and that's a film written by me and Bharat, directed by me and Himanshu, and it's a really old film. We made it as very long back, talking about the future and a little bit of that. But abhi wo contemporary ho chuka hai. So, but now we're trying to put that out, and yeah, so we'll be putting out. तेरा उधर उधर चूहा घूम रहा है क्या? तू बार बार
हम्म,
ऑफ कैमरा देख रहा है, मुझे लग रहा है कि तू
नहीं नहीं नहीं, मेरे पास एक लैडर है, कुछ नहीं, अबाउट आई जस्ट लुकिंग एट इट। अरे मेरे घर पे रेनोवेशन हो रहा है, डोंट लाइक जज मी राइट
okay.
नाउ।
No, I'm not judging you right now. I just thought you were a little busy, so I thought the rat might be coming to get you. Um, what if you also become like Remy, and it comes on top of you and starts helping you direct movies and write movies? And it's like a
What if
rat
that is
who's.
happening?
What if that is happening right now, and that's how you're talking on this podcast? That'll be very
Hmm.
cool. Um, but yeah, anyway, Rick and Morty ये बात करना है, हम लोग अवॉइड भी कर सकते हैं
I think
क्योंकि
I just wanted
मेरे
to say कि
रूम में
it's
चूहा है
मतलब
तो हाँ
नहीं, मतलब रिक एंड मॉर्टी का तो मुझे बस इतना बोलना था that I really like the second episode. It was probably the best episode I've seen come out of Rick and Morty. तो like अगर लोगों ने नहीं देखा है, we should get start watching it so that when by the time the season ends we can talk about it. That's it.
Yeah, I think I also really like Rick and Morty's this new season. I've liked the 3 episodes that have come out so far. Really enjoyed. I also really enjoyed the second and the third one. I think more than the first. I think if I'm remembering them correctly. But also, the other thing I want to say, Everything Everywhere All at Once, which I also really enjoyed. I watched it in the theater recently, and dude, it's like a lot of it is like an extended Rick and Morty episodes. A lot of
It's
the
written by
gags are.
the people who wrote not Rick and Morty, but who wrote it here? Fuck. Yeah, it's written by the people who wrote Rick and Morty, not necessarily the main guy.
Not Justin Roiland or Dan Harmon.
हाँ, no,
वो
not
होते तो
them.
पता होता, but वो नहीं है.
Where I'll
So,
find out.
but yeah, anyway, so it reads like one of those.
Yeah,
It watches like one of those sort of episodes. In fact, some of the plots are the same. Mangshu, if you're
yeah,
familiar with that episode where they imagine what their Beth and Jerry imagined what their lives would have been if they
yeah.
were not in uh the Daniels. Avinash is saying the Daniels, but
So do you remember that music video, Turn Down for What?
no, what? Sorry.
There's a music video.
Hmm.
Like I really liked it back in the day, and the name of the song is Turn Down for What? Do you remember that one?
Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah. So they directed that one, and then they made Swiss Army Man. It's by the
Oh.
directors of Swiss Army Man.
Again, high concept merchants. But yeah.
Yeah.
So so I thought this was interesting, but उसमें Rick and Morty में एक episode है, Beth and Jerry imagine what their lives would have been in different timelines. So
Hmm.
and it's literally the same in this as well. A lot of the jokes, like the sausage finger joke, was also not from Rick and Morty directly, but Rick and Morty basically does that only. Like there's a universe where everybody's everybody's literally like some kind of comic character, or there's a Cronenberg world where everyone are characters from David Cronenberg's films. But so
Yeah.
that's all I had to say. Also, Rick and Morty देखो मजा आएगा. I don't know why
Yeah.
we decided to discuss Rick and Morty. I think it's not really something we can discuss right now.
Yeah.
There has to be something specific around that. Maybe we'll do like a special episode on animation and what we enjoy. So anyway, let's move on to our recommendations. Thank you to everyone who joined. Please like the stream and that will help us out. But Himanshu, your recommendation quickly and then we can conclude.
It's a film that hasn't yet released anywhere, but like I had been looking forward to it. And I just finished half of it when it came out online. It's called Bodies.
You have
And
तेरे को मिल गया link क्या pirate?
yeah, मिल गया. And
मेरे
it's
को
very
भेजना
good.
इसके बाद. हाँ.
है ऑनलाइन देख ले तो मतलब it's an interesting funny dark film and it goes crazy and I think you guys should watch it. You guys will like it. Trailer देख लो पहले, A24 की है. Once you mention that, then you already buy it ना. It's already sold.
Phantom before Phantom, and now the Phantom is also not there. So
Yeah.
but anyway, so my recommendation is two things actually. Number one is this musician, this rapper called Aesop Rock, who my friend suggested to me, and I've been sort of listening to. He's actually a very old rapper I'd never even heard. It's not ASAP Rocky. That
हाँ,
is
got
a
it.
different guy. So this is Aesop, AESOP Rock, and Aesop Rock is a very very cool artist. I found a lot of his music very good. I've been listening to it on loop since yesterday. So yeah, so that's my recommendation. Number one recommendation. Number two recommendation is, guys, we have a new podcast. It's called Bourgeoisie. Please go and check it out on the channel. It's where we discuss news and politics and banter. Imagine a weekly news podcast, but you don't talk about the serious news and you only talk about bullshit. That's what it is. So if you enjoy that, please go and check those out. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and yeah, Eraz is saying, "Chalo, see you all on the WhatsApp group." Yes, we'll see you. I'm sure discussions will be on already. If you want to join that, I've already told you how to do so. Mr. Pink, welcome to the group. I hope you come to the group actually, if you'd like to. And yeah, thank you to Mr. Pink, and somebody else had also given us had joined the membership in the beginning. Thank you to you as well. And yeah, that's the end of this episode. Himanshu, I wish you luck with your rat problem. Chalo, good night.
Good night.